So like, do they do? What are they gonna say now? Because they can't say, "Oh, I'm as fast as Xfinity Internet." What are they gonna be like? What do they say now?
I don't know. They probably don't say anything, honestly. Maybe our car was as good as
Our
parts from
in-house
O'Reilly Auto
parts.
Parts. I don't know. I don't know.
The parts in this car were as good as the parts that you can get from O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Yeah,
Nah,
so
that's too long.
supposedly they got a stupid amount of money for saying that their car was as fast as Xfinity 5G, which I'd argue is maybe why Xfinity doesn't sponsor the series anymore because they realized they had to hand out too much cash. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're interviewing somebody that finishes 30th every week because I got a top 10, and he goes, "Oh yeah, this car was as fast as Xfinity Internet," and he says that shit fucking
hmm
19 times, you're just gonna
hmm
pay that dude like $2,000, $3,000, like,
it's true.
she, I wouldn't want to sponsor a series anymore, you know?
I mean, I'm just saying, there's a reason that every single guy in that series was saying that. You know,
I just thought it was part of the contract. I don't know. I'm sure O'Reilly's will have something soon.
oh yeah,
Mm.
I'm still calling it Xfinity. We already have gone from Bush to Nationwide, Nationwide to Xfinity, Xfinity to O'Reilly Auto Parts. Like at some point, we're gonna just stop changing it. So
I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, in my heart, it's still the Nationwide series.
hey, listen,
It's still the
whatever you
Nationwide
want to call
series to me.
whatever you want to call it, brother.
Hey, that Xfinity. I mean, I feel like Nationwide to Xfinity. See, like, look, listen. Nationwide, one word. Xfinity, one word. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Like,
Yeah, it's
I
gonna be the
feel
Orp series. Like that's literally what people are gonna call it.
the Orps series.
Okay, I mean that's no one is going to say, "Man, I can't wait to go to the track today to watch O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing." That's just fucking idiotic.
Speaking of that, are you going to go watch the Orps race at Charlotte?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. Well, like,
Yeah, but I will not call it Orps Race. I will call it Xfinity.
that just sounds bad.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Oh, that just sounds bad. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get this. So I recorded all that, by the way. That was great.
I love that.
Yeah, I recorded all that. So let's just get into it.
Okay.
Welcome to another episode of the CRL podcast. My name is Caleb Smith, driver of the 54 High Five Racing truck and ARCA car on Monday and Wednesday nights, which you can catch on OSR Network, joined by Rob Sherwoo.
It is I, Rob Sherwood, also aka Ron Sherwoo. Yeah. It's good to be back, brother.
It is indeed good to be back. It's going to be a shorter episode today. We only have one race to cover, and I guess we can get a preview of what next week's going to be like at Auto Club for both the truck and ARCA car. I feel like it's going to be some insane racing, always is. Um, but let's talk about the race at Pocono this past Monday night. Um, really long race. Um, 82 laps because it came down to a green white checkered. Really long race. It was probably one of the longest races I've ever done in the series. Um, it was like a good hour and a half. It was like 10:20 before this race ended. Um, but it was a lot of fun. Um, there were some moments. I feel like everyone that raced or watched it knows what I'm talking about. We had some moments. Um, on the track. Everyone was getting a little aggressive, but there was some really good racing out there. Um, I'm keeping my streak of top tens on ovals alive, Rob. Proud of myself. Well, I mean, I guess would this classify as an oval or a triangle? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, technically it is a triangle. I think it falls under the oval category, as I don't really think there is such a thing as a triangle category. Yeah, I mean, they call it the tricky triangle for a reason. And I was kind of surprised when I saw the race stats. Five cautions is honestly quite a bit for Pocono. I know that it was 82 laps, but Pocono is one of those that traditionally it feels longer than what the race actually is because guys get spread out so easily. So, honestly, very surprised about the five cautions, but even more surprised something that it looked like looking through the finishing order is there were a lot of guys that kind of worked their way up from the back to the front through strategy and just how things played out. Which it sounds like you kind of had a similar circumstance with a pit strategy call at the end of the race. So that's what makes Pocono fun. It can be boring racing, but it does allow for differing strategies.
I would compare Pocono, and people are probably going to get upset at this. I would compare Pocono to Indy in a way, and just hear me out for a second. All three corners are different, just like how all four corners of Indy are different. Even though it's you know it's triangle, it's rectangle, they're all flat. It doesn't matter. All three corners are different. You have to drive all three corners differently. Um, so like it's definitely a skill track. Um, you know, both all three corners aren't the same. Um, turn one was a real struggle point for me, uh, and I feel like it was for a lot of people. You kind of seen a lot of people over driving the corner, kind of losing speed off. Me being one of them. Um, but you could also make up so much, like so many positions if you just dove it in there and prayed it stick or stuck.
Yeah.
Um, which we also seen uh, work and not more so
Yeah,
not.
well, and I think I actually was just thinking about this. It kind of reminds me. I think a lot of people talk about Pocono and how there's aspects of it that feel similar to Indianapolis, and not just because of the uniqueness factor, but if you think about it, really, turns one and turns three at Pocono are the most important corners on the racetrack. You could argue, just because, yeah, you could make up time in the tunnel turn, but it's so important to get yourself momentum and get down those long straightaways that you've got going into the tunnel turn and both down the front stretch. And it kind of reminds me of turns two and turns four at Indianapolis. So yeah, it creates chaotic racing. But yeah, it's sounds like y'all experienced that on Monday a little bit with some issues.
Yeah, and we had a good long green flag run towards the end until that caution come out. Um, me and Jacob, we were running pretty decently together, and we'd seen Parker pull off, and I was like, all right, well, I'm in the window. I would like to pit sooner rather than later, and just so we can stay with them, because I knew everyone was going to go down and take four tires. So I was like, all right, well, if we're just going to take fuel in the time it's going to take to get the fuel, let's just put two right sides on it. Let's just see how it works. I mean, fuck it, we got nothing to lose. Um, like a win doesn't get you in. So I mean, if even if it doesn't work, we're still going to be running for top five, top 10. That was my viewpoint on it. So we pitted, and we ended up coming out right. I can't remember if it was right in front or right behind Parker. Um, but we battled Parker for I think it was till about 8 laps to go. I think it was about 8 laps to go. We stayed with him. Um, and then Jordan, Ricky, Judson. Now I want to say Evan caught us, and that was the battle for the win. So it was really good racing. And then we had an incident where a car got turned, brought it caution. We went to green, white, checkered, and chaos unfolded on that green, white, checkered. Uh, Cars everywhere. Um, and then it's very unfortunate because I fell outside the top five. But I finished eighth. But it sucks. It does. But all in all, really good race. Evan Kinney, excuse me, Evan Kennedy ended up Kennedy. God bless America.
Evan Kinney, our first time winner this year, not named Joshua Altus or Parker Collins. Even though Parker really tried to make it three in a row, he actually ended up with the most laps led on Monday, which is not shocking because I had heard that a lot of people were expecting it to be the Parker Collins show. So yeah, not surprising to see him up there. But yeah, shout out to our friend of the pod, Evan Kinney, for being the first winner this year, not named Josh or Parker. And just kind of following through the rest of the top 10, you've got Zachary Foudy, Judson Curtis, Ricky Harden, and Parker Collins rounding out your top five. So good to see Parker leading all those laps, but also was able to rebound, well, not rebound, but still get a top five out of it. Followed by Jordan Trask, Jeremy Moore, Caleb Smith, Lane Hostler, and Joshua Altis.
Altice.
And honestly, going through the results, like I kind of mentioned it earlier, but Zachary Foudy started 24th, finished second. Judson started 21st, finished third. Ricky started 12th, finished fourth. Jeremy started 18th, finished seventh, and Josh started 16th, finished 10th. So I think that's where those strategies came in, and I'm sure some of it comes down to fortune with incidents and just kind of how things work out, but that just tends to be what happens at Pocono when you put yourself in these situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you were talking about Evan Kinney being the first one to win, not named Parker, not named Josh, and I'm looking, and he has a chance of going two for two, and it keeping the trend going, because I'm looking at the stats. Fred Garcia put these stats
Yes.
out into the chat, and albeit this happened a very long time ago, 2021, February and September, Evan Kinney went back to back on Auto Club. Like I said, that was 2021. He hasn't won again at this track since. But you also got Lane Hostler, who is a past winner, Ghost, who's a past winner, um, those being in 2022, 2023. Um, and then you got Steve Gerber, 2023, Jacob, you, and Ricky being the past three winners
Well,
at this track.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but Evan is the only multi-time winner, correct? Everybody else has only won once there?
Correct. And
Okay.
yeah, so Evan swept 2021. Because
Okay.
Auto Club is one of those tracks where you race it multiple times a year.
Hmm.
It's just such a good race in this series. Well, excuse me, but yeah, no, Evan's the only one to win back to back, or not back to back. Well, he did, but multiple times at this racetrack. Um, and Rob, you have won at this racetrack before, so let me get your insight on how to win at this track. I've never won at this track. I've come close, but I've never won.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my win, I kind of ran. I remember when I won there, I was like top five speed, and it was just fortunately how things shook out that night. I think it was a caution with like 18 laps to go, something like that, and I took my last set of tires, and I was able to drive from like 10th to the lead, or 12th to the lead. I can't even remember. It's a challenging track. It's hard to pass, especially if you've got that second groove, that second seam, forcing somebody to pass you underneath you. But it chews up the tires, and I'm curious to see if that will play a factor. I would assume it will, but also it is hard because very much like Michigan and some of these other bigger tracks, the draft does play a big factor in that, and sometimes choosing when to take your runs can either, yeah, you may go into the corner in fifth place, but if you decide to take a run and get freight trained by the outside, you may end eighth place by the end of the lap. So it creates very tight racing. It's a premium to pass, and
And we're back. So for the second week in a row, Spectrum has shit itself. So they were not as fast as Xfinity Internet. Um, Rob, continue with what you were saying.
I'm trying to remember where I left off. But essentially, yes, passing will be at a premium. Tires will be the ultimate importance. If you get strategy that works out, it kind of worked out for me the last time I won there. So it'll just vary. I think if you're on even tires, then it's going to be very difficult to pass. If you can catch a caution and use your fresh tires and get track position, you can really use the outside to gain as much speed as you can off the corner, maximize that momentum down the straight, and kind of be able to hold it underneath on the bottom. So yeah, that's pretty much Auto Club. Very much tire grinder and very difficult to pass.
Yeah, and really bumpy. So
Yeah.
um, as you would say, a cheese grater.
Mhm.
Um, so should be really fun Monday night and also Wednesday night. We're coming off of a bye week. First time we're really doing that. Having bye weeks in a series. Other than like holidays, we're just having bye weeks, which is pretty cool. Gives our drivers some time to like have the rest of the week to do stuff or you know use that Wednesday to do something else. Um, but also let our Premier Series, which is the truck series, do some other tracks. Tracks that maybe would not suit ARCA as well. Um, and I explained the scheduling last week, so I won't go into detail on that. Um, but let's shout out our sponsors real quick. Ghost Athletics, Savage Sim Wraps, who made us some new thumbnails this week. So shout out to JD for that. Um, OSR Network, broadcasting every Monday and Wednesday night. Um, and yeah, uh, that's about it for our sponsors over there. And yeah.
Before we move on, I do want to. We missed it when the audio cut out. I had a fun little stat for our listeners. So I went back and looked after Josh and
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the episode here. We apologize for the technical difficulties that we are having with this week's episode. Spectrum is fucking me right now, uh, and they are doing it really bad. Um, yeah, my internet keeps going out, so we keep losing Rob. But we talked about everything we need to talk about. We talked about Pocono. Um, we talked about Pocono. We talked about Auto Club coming up this week. How that should be a good one. Um, Rob has just sent me the stat he was going to talk about. Um, um, there has never been a three consecutive back-to-back-to-back winner in CRL. So that was the stat he was going to bring up. Actually, interesting stat that could change this season with Joshua Altus winning, Parker Collins. Now Evan has taken the reins to try to do that as well if he can win this week and then the following week. Um, so yeah, um, maybe the curse can be broken this season. But until next time, we appreciate all you guys listening and watching on YouTube. But bye bye.